All right, good evening, Moose family. Welcome to another Moose Media show. We have a special playoff preview show for you tonight. On tonight's panel, we got Vic Lev as usual, and Belial, Piggy showing back up again tonight after a few weeks off. Coming up later in the show, we'll have special guest Jay Money to do a little interview on his rookie season. To kick the show off tonight, we'll do our regular weekly recap, the Jay Money interview. Then we've got the playoff preview segment coming and breaking news of another MEC announcement. So with that, let's get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and switch right over to Vic. Which series from last week did you think really helped someone get in the playoffs or might have screwed someone out of getting in the playoffs, Vic?
Well, the one that definitely helped was for Colinelli himself beating D-Mart. That was a huge hurdle that they had to overcome, and they did just that early on in the week on Sunday. Took the first one overtime, so one-goal game. Game 2, 5-2, a little more of a spread, and 3-2 for D-Mart in overtime. So they picked up 5 points. Even losing that third game, they still got a point out of it, which really mattered in the end. They actually performed very well this week, so for me, that was a huge series. Another couple that are just maybe off the top of my head that are surprising, maybe Blue beating AC. I know AC's team's been on a bit of a decline, so it's interesting to see you guys beat them. I know you were mentioning last week that you guys were kind of just going out to have fun with it, so it's interesting to see that sometimes when you have no pressure that you can beat a team like Flight of the Conchords. And then Rocco sweeping Vin. Another thing with Vin being out of the playoffs. Still interesting to see Rocco sweep them.
Yeah, definitely. That was a huge game for Colinelli coming out, only letting D-Mart get 1 point. As we know, D-Mart was already locked into a playoff spot. Colinelli and Bardown were both fighting hard last week for it. Belial, do you got anything to add on to them?
Oh yeah, a little interesting point too. I know with Blue and AC's series, one of those victories that Blue got actually pushed AC out of that top 4 spot because Fallen ended up taking the third game away from AC to actually knock him into playing in the first round and knock him out of that bye spot. So that was a semi-big series for Blue Liner there. Knocks him a little bit down. That was a big series for AC. Unfortunately, they couldn't come through. I know with Vin's series, us and Rocco, we threw the lineup around all over because we realized before the series started that we weren't technically going to be making it to the playoffs. So we had Vin playing that, we had me playing that, and we had Cripps. Cripps up on forward, we had Ed on forward, we had them all over. So we were just having a good time with it for that series. But another kind of surprising series, the 2 top teams, Murph and Viva, I do believe they were both in the bye, I do believe. But I know Murph swept that series against Viva 3 straight. A little bit surprising to me for that guy. Was not expecting that at all. I was expecting at least 2 or 3 for Murph, if not maybe 2 or 3 for Viva, but I wasn't expecting a sweep from Murph for sure.
Piggy, you got some thoughts on last week's series at all? We're talking with the Rocco Vin, AC Blue, Superstar Colinelli.
Yeah, for our series against you guys, it was kind of a fresh of breath there because we have lost 11 straight and starting off hot or whatever, and then going losing 11 straight. It was tough for us, but that series was close. So yeah, we lost the series and stuff like that, but I think it was more of a morale kind of thing, and then we took out Fallen's team in that series to finish out the season, but they were all close games, and congrats to all the teams that made the playoffs.
Definitely, that was a very fun series. We played against you guys in AC. As Vic stated, we were going out to have fun, but we weren't going to lay down and let someone take some points and help them with the playoffs. We had fun, changed our lineup around a little bit as what we've been running, and that might have been something we should have done earlier in the season, and maybe we could have actually fought a little bit harder to get in there. I had to thank a close friend for sending me some lineup ideas that I went with there, and it seemed to work. But our main thing is we wanted to have fun, and that's what we do with no pressure, and it seemed to work for us. Like I say, it was a very close series. It could have gone either way with AC, and I've seen AC play some of the best hockey I've ever seen him play. I believe he got like over 27 hits in that series altogether as well. going on with the Fallen AC series, that was a huge one. It was live streamed by Drew on YouTube. A lot of people were watching that. That was huge in two ways. Of if AC swept, he got one of the top 4 spots and he got a first round bye. Fallen was fighting to get in, knocking Bar Down out. I was going for AC all the way to hopefully get Colin Elliott that I wanted in the playoffs got locked in already, and was hoping for Bar Down to hold on to that 12th spot. Vic, your thoughts on any of that series?
Yeah, I was actually rooting for Bar to get knocked. To not get knocked out, to actually make that 12th spot. Good buddy of mine there, Stimp, on that team, as well as Bar. So I was hoping to actually match up against them, just because I wanted the chance to knock Stimp and Bar out of the playoffs. So unfortunately, I don't get that opportunity. Now we got to try and knock out Fallen's team, who had a stellar week and just got barely into the playoffs, but that's all you need, and as soon as you're in the playoffs, everybody has a chance at the title. So congratulations to them and everyone else who made it. And unfortunately, when you leave your fate in the hands of other teams, expecting us to sweep Claremont's team, and I think AC sweeping Fallen the last night in order to get Bar's team in, it's never a good situation to put yourself in, but it is what it is, and I know those guys fought hard all the way to the end. So it's a shame they missed out just by a point, but it's the way things go, and we'll see how things turn out for Fallen coming in as the 12th spot.
Sure, and I imagine Bar Down will be back, if not next season, here in a few seasons to give it another go, but I certainly hope to see him back next season to give it a try. Lyle, I know you and I were watching that series on YouTube together, and it was a very tough series, great hockey on both sides. What's your comments about that?
I know both of us, we were getting excited and shouting at our own computers there, and actually like we were watching an actual game. Very intense series. Came down to the last game of the season for both teams, either a bye or a playoff spot. And it turned out that Fallen got the better of the two and took that last win and got into the playoffs by literally one win. So that's how close this season was with all the teams. All 20 teams. It was very, very, very close. And it sucks for Bar's team. I know he worked really hard to regroup his team after Clutch, his top dollar player in his first pick, ended up going away. So I put him in a tough spot, but he rebounded quite nicely and put himself a solid effort. So commend him for that, and hopefully, like you said, we see Bar Down either next season captain again, going at another run at it, or in future seasons to come, for sure.
And Piggy, I'm going to change it around a little bit for you. You were in that series. Knowing going into that series that you needed that sweep to get the first round bye, or just to keep Fallen from even getting in the playoffs. What was your guys' game plan? How'd you do? I see, game one you had a definitely big lead with the 5-3 win. Game two was a 2-1, and if I recall, that game could have gone either way. That's the one that kind of had me on the edge of my seat, just hoping for you guys there. And game three, I know you guys fought it out, but you just couldn't hold on as Fallen took it 3-1.
Well, I think it was kind of a win-win situation for either one of us. I mean, for us, because we want to play with losing that last game, but then we would have to face the week off. So, we get hot and then get cold again. So, I don't know. I think that we played it right, and I think that we won the series because we played well. And kudos to Fallen's team for sticking it to us, that third game. But I think we went out to win, and we played the best we could. And even though we lost that third game, it was still better than how we have been playing the last 11 games. So it was a win for everybody.
Definitely. Another one I'd like to touch on, which was a big one that also kind of helped knock Bar Down out of the playoffs here, was the Claremont versus Yam. Claremont come out and got the first game in overtime, and that right there was kind of sealed the deal to push Bar Down out of the playoffs as well as Fallen. Or put them more on the bubble, because they had to wait till Thursday night to see if Bar Down was definitely out or not. Well, what are your thoughts on the Yam taking 2 games from Claremont on Wednesday night?
Not too big of a surprise. Like I said, Yam's team has been solid from game 1 to game 39. Not too surprised, but I know Claremont's been stepping it up here and actually putting together some solid wins as well as a solid team together. But again, everything happens for a reason. I think Yam's team, at the end of it, deserved to win that series. I know they've been playing, like I said, good all season, and really not too surprising. It would have been more surprising if it was, like, say, a sweep or something like that, but for sure.
Sure. Piggy, you got some thoughts about Claremont getting that overtime win against Yam's team on Wednesday night?
Yeah, actually, kudos to Claremont for, everything that he did this season, for stepping in for the most reliable person in the Moose, Goofy J, and then taking that team and doing what he did with them. Like Bilal said, Yam's team has been a higher team up there, and they got a lot of good people on that team. So it was just the resiliency and the fight in them shows that that they need to be where they're at, and good job to both teams.
Yeah, I had Yam chosen to sweep that series. Great Claremont come out and got that overtime win. He's been on a roll basically since the trade deadline. He had his work cut out for him since taking over that team early on in the season. That team just wasn't drafted well, and Claremont had to do a lot of work, and he straightened it out and finds himself in a playoff spot, and that's great. Congrats to Claremont. Congrats to the Yams team for they were solid all season long. He did a great job drafting this season, too. Totally rebuilt that team a little different than last season. Kept his right winger around, which was expectable, but he brought in a solid goalie and a good guy on defense with McGilla that I think really helped that team out a lot. Vic, you were in that series. What can you tell us about it?
Well, pretty much all season we've kind of been that team. Kind of get off to a slow start. Then we kind of get behind, and then we pick it up and really turn things on, and that's usually when we're best, when we're kind of down and behind. Not the best thing, but I mean, as far as the lesser of two evils, I guess that's it. It's always nice to play with a lead and kind of know when the clock's winding down that you're coming towards a win. But when you're playing with desperation and we've been able to come back from behind, it gives us a lot of hope going into the playoffs to know that even if we get down a game or two, there's the way we've been playing. We just kind of kick it into a fifth gear and things seem to work out for us. So I think we're in a good spot heading into the playoffs, and kudos to Claremont's team. They're not a pushover at all. That wasn't a game we were lying down. It's just they took advantage of when we weren't playing our best there, and they made it count.
Thanks, Vic. And moving on to another series, another team that's done really well is Superstars team. They, from what I was seeing early on in the season, they were struggling. Passenger was the captain. He had to move, losing some internet, I think the issue was, and Superstar took over. Since Superstar took over there right before the trade deadline, he spent a full day trying to move some guys around and get a different lineup going, and that seems to work for him as they shot up from doing just what I felt was horrible for that team that I expected to do really well beginning on in the season. I feel they were struggling until that trade deadline. Now they've shot up and locked in their playoff spot. Again, they were up against Bar Down, which was another series of that week that gave Bar Down a chance to.
Do we lose Blue?
I hope not.
Well, I think he's back. He was just he was frozen. Okay.
Blue, yeah, cut out halfway through what you were saying there, buddy.
Sorry. That's great. All right, let's try this again.
Did we lose connection?
No, I just lost all sound and everything, and I could tell it just lagged totally. My picture froze up. Am I there now?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to try to repeat myself. I apologize, but I was talking about the Superstar Bar Down series. Was another series where Bar Down had another chance last week to try to lock in that 12th, possibly 11th spot with this series as well, and commenting on the fact that Passenger actually ran the Superstar team spur of the moment up until the trade deadline, where sounds like Passenger was moving, wasn't going to have internet. Superstar needed to take over, and with, the day before the trade deadline and the day of the trade deadline, I watched Superstar. I wouldn't say scramble, but really did a lot of work to try to move some guys and move some guys in to change that team up a lot, and it definitely helped out for them as they went on a winning spree, and now they're locked in a good spot in the playoffs. And again, with that series not helping Bar Down get in, go with Belial. Do you have anything to talk about between the Superstar Bar Down series?
I agree with you. I commend Superstar there for taking over in that situation and actually pulling off some moves. It's a very good job by him. Very impressed of what they do. I think we all knew it at the start of the year. They had Playmaker on their team. They spent 70 bags of picks just on that one player. So we definitely thought they would be good. It's finally glad to see that they're actually pulling it all together, getting the W's, actually pulling out the series against Bar. That was another big series. Very close series. Again, I think 3 goals separated, or 3 or 4 goals separated the whole entire series. But a good hard fought series. A little bit surprised by a sweep. I know Bar's team's been known for at least getting 1 W in the series. But not too surprising because when you have Playmaker on your team, arguably one of the top forwards in this league, anything's possible for sure. So yeah, not too surprised.
Piggy, any comments on the Superstar sweeping Bar Down?
No, I think Blau hit the nail on the head, man.
Sounds good. Moving on to Vic.
Well, just Superstar's team in general. He sent me some numbers and stuff like that. One of the few captains actually do that, so I'd like to run over. I mean, since he's taken over, they've gone 14-4, 8-1 in their last 3 series. He's a big part of the reason why, playing goalie. Everyone knows him as a goaltender, and there's a good reason for it. He's one of the best in the league. So that definitely helped them out when you get that confidence. I've always said that when you're able to have confidence in the person in net behind you, you can kind of forecheck a little harder and pinch up a little further as a defenseman as well. So it's always easier to play that way, and especially when you allow a guy like Playmaker, 111 points on the season, pairing with Sweat, who was a 100-point player this season. Those two are going to do a lot of damage when they're allowed to play freely without having to worry about what's behind them. So really not too shocking to see them sweep Bar. I know they played Sober a couple times this week too. Some would say those are easy wins, but Sober definitely put up a bit of a challenge there, winning one and taking one to overtime later on in the week. But overall, yeah, very, very good team, and not shocked to see them coming into the playoffs, especially on such a hot streak as they are right now.
Sure. And moving on to the one that everyone's been waiting for, be our last recap of last week. It'd be the Murph Viva. I know Belial touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but the rest of us will hit it now. Game 1, Murph took it 4-0. Game 2, Murph had a 3-1. And Game 3, Murph had 3-2. I know last week I really couldn't predict a winner for this. I always enjoy the Viva write-ups, so I wasn't really sure who to go with, and both teams being fighting out for a top spot there. It definitely helped Murph lock in that #1 spot and give him his first round bye. But I thought for sure Viva would get at least 1 win out of that series. How you feel on that, Vic?
This one's big for Murph. Just it puts a huge stamp on how well of a captain he's been this season, leading his team. President's Trophy by far, just dominant season. This is a squad you really, really got to take seriously. Any mistake you make against them, they'll use it against you. To counter that, Viva's team, another top team, especially with Jay-Z and Viva on the wings and Bagshot the center. They are quite skilled, having played them this week as well, seeing what they're capable of. It seems like a trend I've noticed a bit with some of Viva's scores where they seem to kind of be a slow starter as well, where they kind of get blown out sometimes in the first game or it's close, and then they tend to kind of work up towards that 3rd game. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for them in the playoffs, coming up against teams that are very hot out the gate. If Viva's team can't keep it close in the early games, then they're going to run into trouble, definitely in the playoffs.
All right, Piggy, do you have any comments on the Murph Viva series?
Yeah, I wish Viva would have won. Murph's just perfect.
And Belial, you got anything
Sure.
more to add from what you had earlier?
Not too much. I just know the chemistry is there with Viva's team because they have the same exact forward line. I think they upgraded on their goalie from last season, and just overall their defense was a little bit better, I feel, this season. So yeah. Um,
All right, I don't know what happened to Belial there.
We're good.
I think I got him back. Maybe not. All right. Anyway, I have to give a shout out to Viva. He's done really good this season. He does have himself and two keepers from the Full House team last season who did very well, and here they are again looking at a first round bye. Second season for that team in the playoffs. We'll see how they can do. See if they can make it the whole way this time. I was looking at Dutch Master Dank's team to go all the way to the finals, but they're not even in the playoffs, so I was a big fail there on that prediction. I want to give a shout out to Murph's team. He battled with 2 1-2 players all season and just a tremendous goalie, and that other teams kind of steered away from a little bit for availability issues, but Murph handled it, managed his team very well, and it came out for him. He's got the President Cup. He sits on top, first round bye. It's just will they do the right thing with their week off, or will they get lazy and get stunned in the second round when they do face a matchup? That's what I'm waiting to see. If you guys are ready, we can move on to the J Money interview.
for sure.
Do we have J Money in here?
Hey, hello everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for showing up, Jay. We appreciate it. Just a few questions for you with your rookie season, and welcome to the Moose. We hope you all enjoyed it. Glad to have you. In my opinion, you were a stellar goalie from the scouting all the way through the season on the nights that you got to play. So what did you enjoy most about your rookie season here in the Moose?
I can't believe how many people in this game are really, really good. I mean, as a goalie for the last year and change, all I did was drop-ins. And you run into people that are good, but you also run into people that are terrible. And only for the last couple months I've been playing organized games as a goalie. And you see all these plays and dekes that you didn't even know were possible. It's a learn on the fly, so it's really nice to play against good competition.
Yeah, you definitely did well with it in that case. How did you feel the atmosphere in the Moose was, and are we a league that you would recommend to others along the way?
I like that there's not as many. It's not as big as LG or the other leagues that I hear everybody talking about. It's like the small town where everybody knows everybody kind of feeling. And because of that, I would only recommend it to people that I know would not be douchebags, I guess, because people if I recommend them, then I feel like their actions would reflect on me as well. I have to be careful who I would invite.
Excellent. Who do you feel was your toughest competition forward-wise that you had to face all season?
Well, I have to say the Beavers. That'd be Dutch's team, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that is.
Yeah, that was my 6th series, I believe. And the first 5 series, our team hadn't let in more than 2 goals. And it was looking like that the first 2 games, our team also didn't let in more than 5 in a series. But that third game, they put up a 5 spot, and that was a rough sweep. Luckily for us, I guess they're not in the playoffs, so it's one less team to worry about.
And what was your most exciting memory of your first season here in the Moose?
Definitely seeing my name show up on the draft board. I know there was a lot of questions about my availability, so I wasn't expecting anything until the late rounds. My brother was fortunate to let me use his laptop. So I was using the chat box on my phone, and when I saw my name show up so early, I think it was late in the 3rd round, I was so shocked I actually dropped my phone and just had to see what happened.
Yeah, I know you were one of the top rookie goalies coming in, and you did the right thing by getting a hold of MEC, letting us know about your availability, getting it on the draft sheet. At that point, I think it might have hurt you a little bit, but people were still looking at you. It was just a big question. Without the schedule out before the draft, how do we fit you in? How do we know you're the right choice? And I'm glad it worked out for you on a team.
Yeah.
Going forward, what would you like to see the league the league improve on for rookies? We have the rookie showcase, but are there, anything that you can let us know what we can do to help rookies out for their first season?
This one's a tough one. I don't think for me, for goalies, it's a problem because once a new goalie signs up, I think all the captains want to take a look right away. But for position players, I think that there should be a sticky on that new members thing, and it just tells them, listen, there's a lot of players. The captains aren't going to get to everybody. Shoot them a message. Like, instead, be proactive. Don't just sit back after you fill out your form and just expect them to find you, because you have to, if you want to be seen, do it yourself. That's the big thing.
Exactly. Thank you for that advice. I'm sure that's something that Vic and I can work on going into the next season as well. I know scouting as a captain myself is a very tough time because you want to see the new players, but you got the old players there. You're trying to compete to get into your scouting games as well.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another standout rookie that you noticed this season?
Who's the original team? Vardown's team. Holy Schwartz. Holy Schwartz, I knew right away that he was going to be a pretty good player. I mean, he was on my team or against me in a lot of those Moose Lobby games, and I know Bar paid a lot more than he wanted, but I wasn't complaining about him having him on my team at the time.
Yeah, Swats definitely came out strong all through the rookie showcase, even grabbing one of the top 3 stars in that. Any of you guys on the panel have any questions you might want to throw at Jay Money real quick? No, you guys are all frozen, huh?
I think you nailed them, Blue.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks for coming on the show, Jay Money. Thanks for your time. You're welcome to stick around for our playoff preview if you like. If not, we understand.
I'll have to go. I'm actually at my aunt's house right now, so I'll just do some last-second shout-outs if that's all right.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right. Shout out to my aunt, uncle, my cousins. I mean, I'm at their house using their iPad and their internet. Impossible without them. Shout out to the Dropkick Murphys. I mean, they play stellar to make it as easy for me as possible. Tom 113, Yanni, Prairie, Airborne Infantry, and OGMP40. These are the guys that recommended me to the league. They said I was definitely good enough to try it out, so I'd like to thank them. And NY Isles and Yale Lemurs, they've been bugging me for years and years to join them in NHL, and I wasn't really a big hockey fan, but they knew I could play games. So 3-4 years ago, I finally gave in and bought it, and now we're here. So thanks to them. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Thanks, Jay Money, and good luck to you in the playoffs. Good luck to your team, Dropkick Murphys. See if you guys can hold that top spot and get you a cup on your rookie season.
Oh, definitely. That'd be nice. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Now we'll head on to our playoff preview. Let's go over the first round buys real quick. I'll just briefly touch them. Dropkick Murphys, ran by Murph 416. We got the Orville Redenbachers, ran by what we all know as Thaney, who is now going as Johnny Hockey. And third place with their first round buy, Game of Cones, run by none other than Viva and his awesome write-ups he's been giving us all season. Hope to see some more of them during the playoffs. And D-Mart with North America East, everyone's favorite lobby to play in when they're not playing in Moose is what I think of when I see his team. Them all have a first-round bye, so we'll go on down to, I believe this game is scheduled for Monday and Wednesday. It would be MHL Breakfast Club against the Hounds of Justice, which is Gambag being the home seed against Fallen Warriors team. Belial, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel about this series? Who do you have to win and how many games?
Well, first I'll start with I think Gambag is going to win the series, and I think that's going to be in 6 games against Fallen. I think Gambag's offensive line is too powerful for Fallen's team to handle. Even with Mud Dog back there, that's only one side of the ice. And with that side of the ice, I do believe he'll be going against Vic, which is an established guy that's been in our league for a little bit. He knows how to play. And he moves the puck quick. And on the opposite side, not as strong defensively. And with Gaudreau over there, or I Pound Empty Nets, whatever you like to call him, he has dirty hands in the game. Sick dangles, can score from anywhere on the ice. And don't forget about Danny in the middle, right? Brand new guy to the league. Wouldn't know it. He doesn't show it. Plays great. Very poised. Always in the right position. And I think that's going to give Fallen's team a lot of trouble.
Excellent. Thank you, Bilal. Piggy, who do you got for Fallen and Yam? How many games do you think that'll go?
I'm gonna say Yam in 5, just because Nate will get rattled and then he'll lose it, and then he'll either quit or just not play very well. So I'm gonna say Yam in 5, and push the left side of the ice.
I'd have to agree with you. I myself, it's going to be a real tough series for both them teams. I think it'll be a good one. I'm hoping that someone on one of them two teams might have a caption card or a Twitch account that we all might be able to watch it. But I'm going with Yam in 5. I know I played Fallen's team twice this season. They are a real tough team, but if you can strike first on them, you can get them frustrated. You can get them second guessing themselves. And once you score a goal on them, the first one, you're going to see their lefty, I believe it's Slumdog. He's going to pause the game, take a little moment, and once that starts happening, you're frustrated, you start pounding on him some more. Vic, this is a series that you're in, so rather than ask you how many games it's going to take you guys to knock Fallen out, what do you feel you got to go in as your game plan to make sure you guys are going to the second round?
Well, again, yeah, it does come down to, at least on my side on the right, playing against Mud Dog. The veterans know him better as Nate or Goodchild. They know him for a good reason. A guy might have a shitty attitude the odd time. He could get frustrated, but he's one hell of a defenseman to play against. I know for me, he's one of the ones that I usually. Everyone's got the opposite players that they don't match up well against, and they never play that great. He said the same for me, so I think it'll be interesting just to have that little ice battle between him and I. As far as you're saying, it's interesting to hear that if we hit the iron first, that we might have a bit of an advantage if they're getting frustrated. I know one thing Nate hates is when people fight him, so if that opportunity arises, that might just happen, just to piss him off a little and get inside his head. It's the playoffs, so you got to play some of those mind games as well as the actual ice game. I guess we were kind of hoping that the Rangers would push on so that he'd be a little distracted playing Monday, because we know he's a NYR fan, but I guess them losing in the Cup finals as well, maybe we can push some buttons on him there too. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do to play the head games, because I think he's the main target, and I think the rest of the team, while skilled, I still think as far as any player on the ice, that Mud Dog's the one we got to concentrate on getting behind.
Yeah, I just think with you and Yam's team having, the players that you guys have this season, if you can keep that puck moving and set up some plays, you're not going to have a problem getting by them. I remember talking in your theory of if the Kings didn't win the other night, then the game would be on Monday night, and that would help you guys out because Nate wouldn't be able to concentrate on both playing Moose or, the Rangers game. Wish it would have worked out for you, but myself, I'm glad the Kings ended it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
All right, then we have Pitching for the People, run by D. Mitch, and Double Penetration, run by Collinelli. I'm still a big Collinelli fan going into this series, looking for him to go into another round. So, Piggy, how do you feel about D. Mitch versus Collinelli?
I think Collinelli, with his revamped team, he's going to take D. Mitch in 5. I just think that, he showed a lot of adversity, and I think, I don't know if how D. Mitch is playing or how they ended, but I just think Collinelli's playing too good right now to lose.
Lyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with Piggy. I'm going to say this one's a little closer, though, Collinelli in 7. Because I know Collinelli has revamped his roster, but also know D. Mitch moved a few players around and got players that work better in his system, and they've been on a tear as well. So that's a story of two teams that have made moves to make their team better. Because I know they got rid of Liberated for Chaos Samurai, and since then they've been absolutely on fire. I think they swept our team and then the series right after. So that's 6 straight wins, and they've been on a tear since the trade deadline there. So I think it's going to be a closer series, but I do still see Collinelli pulling it out in 7. Collinelli's been there lots before. D. Mitch is rather new to the MHL. Like, he's usually in the AHL, but since there's no AHL, it's the one league, he's been here for a few seasons, but I still Colin Elliott's experience outweighs D. Mitch's team for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to correct you there just for a minute. This isn't D. Mitch's first time in the MHL. He's very familiar with it. He's captain in the MHL before. However, he has spent a lot more time in the AHL, but I think he's done great getting a team together, having a really strong team. But I really do believe that Colin Elliott's going to stick it to him and knock D. Mitch out. He's going to send him back to the flea market selling his SkyStream box pretty early on here in June. I've got Colin Elliott in 6. I hope it doesn't take him that much, but you know what, Mike, because D-Mitch just have a strong team. I played Colin Elliott right away early in the season with his first team he had, and they beat my team, but I feel they're very beatable. We learned a lot about him. I played him again with his new team there at the end of the season, and they just walked all over us, and I know he's ready to go as far as he can go, and it's not going to stop in the first round. Again, I got Colin Elliott in 6. Vic, have I hit you on that one?
No, I'll give my input. Yeah, Colin Elliott's done a fantastic job since the trade deadline, like you guys have stated. He's really turned his team around, made a huge push, done particularly well this week as far as getting in, beating D-Mart, but then losing the bar. Big 50, Holy Schwatz, and Tommy Wingles, I believe, is their front 3. My fear for them is that they seem like a team that plays to the competition, and whenever you're doing that, it doesn't always necessarily work out in your favor. In fact, more times it seems like it works against you. For that reason, I got D-Mitch in 7. I think D-Mitch's team is one of those tough teams that maybe doesn't get a lot of credit. They basically, they're 6 now, right? They were always close to us, being Yam's team. They had a chance to get in 5th place as well, so they were up. Obviously, it's tough to get the bye against Murph's team. It was so dominant, but as far as that division goes, yeah, they were always the ones that kind of stuck around with us as well. So they might be treated like they're kind of in our shadow, but really, they, as far as I'm concerned, are pretty equal. Be interesting to see. I know there might be some scheduling conflicts, so we'll see how that plays into things. But again, I think unless Colin Elliott's team plays the same and plays well through all the games instead of playing to D-Mitch's team, then I see D-Mitch's team winning in 7.
All right, thank you, Vic. I have to apologize. We'll have to speed this up a little bit. My computer is going to download some software in 13 minutes and 57 seconds.
Can you postpone it?
If that happens and shuts off, I'll restart if we don't get through the show. But we'll
you should be able to postpone it, Blue.
I didn't hit the postpone button as I was trying to get back to the show when it popped up, so my apologies.
Here we go.
All right, so going on, spur of the moment to New Moose Order. This is Superstar versus Claremont. I am going to take Superstar in 7 games just because I know Claremont has been on a tear and still a Superstar. They're both 2 new teams going at each other. Piggy, what do you got here?
I'm going to say Superstar because we played them twice and he was fucking awesome in that. This is the series I really want to watch, and I wish somebody would stream it. So if you can, please do. But I'm going to say Superstar in 7.
Lyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Superstar in 7 as well. But again, I do believe Claremont's team does have a chance if they focus on Playmaker and take him out of the game. I think it's obviously a chance for Claremont's team to win that series. But I'm gonna say that they can't do that, and Playmaker dominates and gives them that Game 7 victory as well.
And Vic, Superstar versus Claremont?
Playing Claremont the other night, I'm not convinced that they have the scoring prowess to put enough pucks past someone like Superstar and net. I think this one's going to come down to Playmaker and Sweat, who clearly they're pretty goddamn good. I actually have Superstar winning this series in 5.
And moving on to our last series of the first round, we've got Rocco going up against AC. I myself am taking AC in Game 7. Both teams, Rocco's been doing really well the last half of the season. AC come down on a struggle, but I think they've got they've got this new rookie goalie in net. I think they found what they needed right now, and I really think AC is going to be able to take it in 7 games. Piggy, I know you're in that series. Just give me a recap. How do you feel you guys are going to do against that?
Well, I have faith in my guys. And we have found a very good goalie, thank God. Yeah, so I'm going to say it's going to be a close series, but I have faith in my guys. We're defending cup champs, and we're going to do it. Good luck, Rocco. 4 games.
All right, Belial, AC Rocco, how many games you got this in?
I got it in 7 as well, but I got Rocco taking this one. I'm just looking at the lineup, and they also have Colleton sitting there as a 1 of 2 player that can play everywhere on the ice. So I'm going to say Rocco in 7, and Piggy is going to be screaming at AC by the end of it.
And Vic, how do you feel, AC or Rocco?
I've got AC in 7. I think the key to this one for Rocco is Frosty Nightmare, and I'm pretty sure he runs a relatively small build as a left wing, if I'm right. Then you got AC on, I think, is AC playing right or left for you guys, Biggie?
Left.
I was going to say, if AC's matching up there, leading the league in hits, I think if Frosty's playing that small build and AC catches him, it'll injure him and limit what Frosty can do for him. Then they're going to have to rely on some of their well, quote-unquote secondary guys to really help out. But I think AC's team, especially the way Drew played in that last series against Fallen, they'll win in 7.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if AC's on left wing or right wing. He's going to find you and he's going to knock you on your ass. That's what I noticed when we played him last week. It didn't matter who had the puck. AC was there and he was knocking some motherfuckers on the ground. All right, that's going to wrap up our... What's that, Piggy?
It's funny whenever AC fucking kills somebody, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, boys.
That's just AC.
Yeah, sorry, boys. Didn't mean to get that 5-minute major.
Yeah, you see how nice of a guy he is, and you're not expecting him to be out there hitting like that. But he's had a tremendous season, and not only is he leading the league in hits, but he is averaging 2 points a game as well. He's just become a great player this season, and I'm really, really proud for AC to have a breakout season, have a good team, take the defending cup team, start running it on his own, and I'm sure they're heading back to the finals this season to defend their cup.
Yep.
But that's going to wrap up our playoff preview. We're going to move on to, we have an MEC announcement to go on right now. First off, I know everyone has seen the forums and the website. They know that at the end of the season, Yam Bag will be stepping down. Vic Lev is going to step into the new president spot. I'd like to say congrats to Vic. I'd like to take a moment to thank Yam for everything that he's done for the league over the seasons. I came in the season, a long time ago, back in 2011. And I've seen the league go through some up and downs. I've been through a lot of presidents with it. I think three, possibly 4 presidents now that I've been in the league for. I think you did a great job, Yam. You taught me a lot about what I need to do and what I need to look for behind the scenes. I feel really honored to have the seasons I've had to work underneath you and work with you. So I definitely will miss you. I'll be contacting you a lot for some advice for the role that I will still have, and I'm sure Vic will be contacting you for some advice to help us both out along the way. So again, thank you very much, Yam, for the time you gave. I know it gets really rough, and I know you're going to, enjoy a little bit of a break. And Vic's going to do you proud. He'll keep things going, and the Moose will stay strong, and if maybe we can try to get a little stronger as well. But a new era with Vic Lev coming in. So, in our next MEC announcement is there'll be a door opening for the MEC with Yam stepping out. Vin Gizzles will be stepping in to take on a role in the MEC. He'll be working with a lot of what I was doing last season, with starting off with some waivers and the MyStats site. Vin comes in the league with some, very good and positive ideas as we've listened and spoke to him over the last season, and I think he's going to be a great contributor to be added to the MEC team. So congratulations, Vic Lev, as president. Congratulations, Vin Gizzles, for stepping into your intern spot here in the MEC. With all that, I'm going to hand it over to Vic Lev to do his usual 3 stars of the week.
Alrighty. Before I get to the 3 stars, I'll just do a quick shout out to Murph for winning the Moose NHL playoff pool. He picked the best bracket, obviously with the Kings beating the Rangers. It came down to him and Mud Dog. Kings won, Murph won. Congratulations. He's already told me that he'd like to redonate his winnings to the media team for future events. So thank you kindly for that, Murph, and again, congratulations. Moving on. Okay, so we'll start with the third star of the week. Playing against D. Martin Bar this week on Colonelli's team, this player, 6 games played, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points, and 54% on the draws. Third star of the week is Big 50. Big 50 was a big contributor to them pulling out some big wins against D. Mart and then holding their own against Bar there as well, coming towards the end of the season, getting them into the playoffs. He's been huge for them now, the entire season that they've had him. Congratulations, Big 50, your third star of the week. Second star of the week comes from MHL Breakfast Club, I-Pound Empty Nets, formerly Gaudreau. 6 games played, 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points, plus 13. We played against Viva and Claremont, and in both series, Gaudreau, or I-Pound Empty Nets, we call him Gaudreau. He was very stellar in each of these games, or each of these series, played very well, easily earning second star of the week. First star of the week, also from Breakfast Club, Danny Retardable, 6 games played, 10 goals, 13 assists, 23 points, plus 13 rating, 22 hits, and a 60% face-off wins rating. Now, again, same reasons, playing Viva and Claremont, a little tougher competition, and maybe you guys will start jumping on me here about picking some of my own teammates as stars, but again, the ones that were ahead in stats were mainly the ones that played the Sober and Stoey Jopa, who had to kind of get waivers and stuff. So the way I've been doing it all season, it's not really fair to kind of give them to those teams where they're kind of just blowouts and stat padding ones. The number one team of the week, again, maybe you'd think it was Breakfast Club, and I was arguing myself with doing this too, but the actual team of the week is Double Penetration, Colinelli. Again, that huge win over D-Mart, really putting a stamp on their season and how Colonnades turned things around. 6 games played, 3 wins, 19 goals for, 17 against. Not the best stats, but again, the wins that they got were the wins that they needed to get into the playoffs. A lot of the other teams, again, were playing against the lower-seeded teams in the league, or they were playing against teams that it didn't really matter, meaning that they had already sealed a playoff spot. So once again, congratulations to Colinelli. You are, in Double Penetration, you are the team of the week.
All right, thanks, Vic. I'm going to have to wrap it up now. I'm down to 3 minutes before my software reloads and starts updating. So sorry to rush the show, guys. There's a lot of things I did want to touch on, but we will be back next Sunday for our Week 1 recap and Week 2 preview. So join us then, and thanks for watching tonight.